One of the mysteries of Britain's ancient Stonehenge.
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 Stonehenge. Stonehenge.
Stonehenge.
Myth and legend have always surrounded its origins. It's been called both a healing site and a place of human sacrifice.
Unknown civilization living right here of Bronze Age people.
On the windswept plains of Salisbury, England, an enigma that has mystified humanity for over 5,000 years has just been unlocked by artificial intelligence. Using GROK, a state-of-the-art AI system, researchers fed a vast and comprehensive array of data about Stonehenge into its neural networks. What GROK uncovered within this monumental data trove has left the academic world in complete disbelief. The monument's true purpose, the staggering precision encoded in its structure, the astronomical alignments, and the hidden knowledge that the stones convey are far more advanced than we ever imagined. What's even more unsettling is the revelation of who might have possessed the knowledge to create such a marvel in the first place. But let's not rush to conclusions. The breakthrough discovery that GROK has made invites us to look more deeply into what this ancient monument actually represents. Let me walk you through exactly what this artificial intelligence uncovered, and why the reality of Stonehenge is far more profound than anyone dared to imagine. For centuries, humanity has pondered one fundamental question about Stonehenge. How did people living 5,000 years ago, people we once believed had no sophisticated mathematics, no written language, and no advanced tools, create a monument that demonstrates engineering precision far beyond what we thought possible for that era? Stonehenge rises from the Salisbury Plain, approximately 90 miles southwest of London. When researchers first began their serious studies in the 17th century, all they could do was speculate wildly about its origins. Was it a Celtic temple, a Roman construction, a Druidic ceremonial center, or perhaps an ancient observatory? What we see today is an awe-inspiring structure made up of massive sarsen stones arranged in a circle, many topped with large horizontal lintels. Inside the outer ring, smaller blue stones are arranged in configurations that have long resisted explanation. The tallest of these sarsen stones stand over 20 feet high, weighing up to 25 tons each. They were quarried from the Marlborough Downs, roughly 20 miles to the north. The smaller blue stones, although lighter, still weigh up to 4 tons and were transported all the way from the Preseli Hills in Wales, an astonishing 140 miles away. According to conventional models of Neolithic society, moving and erecting these stones should have been impossible. The monument was constructed in phases spanning from around 3000 BCE to 2000 BCE. The first phase involved the excavation of a circular ditch with an internal earthen bank. Then came the Aubrey Holes, 56 mysterious pits arranged in a ring, whose function has baffled researchers for centuries. Following that, the massive sarsen stones were erected, and the smaller blue stones were repositioned and rearranged in patterns that still elude explanation. According to the standard narrative, Neolithic communities, driven by religious devotion, periodically gathered to construct this temple, using simple tools and raw manpower to move the stones. They supposedly achieved the astronomical alignments through trial and error. Then, around 1600 BCE, the site was abandoned for reasons still unknown, left to weather and to mystery. But here's what has always troubled engineers and physicists. Even using modern machinery, moving and positioning a 2-5-ton precisely cut stone presents enormous challenges. Without cranes, without metal implements, and without wheeled vehicles capable of supporting such immense weight, the task appears impossible. That's when, in 2026, a breakthrough discovery stunned the scientific community. It wasn't just how the stones were positioned, it was what the entire structure actually accomplishes. The revelation left the scientific world in stunned silence. This extraordinary discovery came from GROK, the advanced artificial intelligence developed by XAI. Researchers compiled every measurement, every archaeological survey, every geological analysis, and every astronomical calculation ever performed on Stonehenge. They fed this colossal amount of data spanning 300 years of research into GROK's neural networks, which had been trained in physics, engineering, astronomy, archaeology, and pattern recognition. The results were astounding. GROK's first breakthrough involved the Aubrey Holes, those 56 pits arranged in a circle outside the stone circle, which had puzzled researchers for centuries. For generations, Archaeologists had speculated that these holes were cremation pits, structural post holes, or ceremonial features, but GROK's analysis revealed something radically different. GROK examined the precise spacing between the Aubrey holes, measuring distances to fractions of a millimeter using compiled survey data. What it found sent shockwaves through the research team. The spacing was not uniform. The holes were not evenly distributed around the circle. For decades, scholars had attributed these variations to measurement errors or to the natural imperfections of Neolithic construction. But GROK proved otherwise. The AI detected that these variations followed a specific mathematical pattern, a sinusoidal wave pattern that precisely matched the equation describing lunar orbital variations across the 18.6-year lunar nodal cycle. This discovery was nothing short of revolutionary. The spacing between the Aubrey holes encoded the moon's maximum and minimum declination angles as it orbits Earth across this 18.6-year period. This was advanced lunar astronomy requiring decades of systematic observation, mathematical analysis, and the ability to translate these calculations into physical spacing measurements accurate to within centimeters across a 100-meter circle. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, an astronomer brought in to verify GROK's findings, stated, "The correlation between the Aubrey hole spacing and lunar orbital mechanics is statistically overwhelming. The probability of this pattern occurring randomly is effectively zero." Someone 5,000 years ago understood lunar mechanics at a level not formally achieved until Kepler's work in the 17th century, and they encoded that knowledge in the physical spacing of 56 pits dug into chalk bedrock. GROK didn't stop there. It also revealed that the number 56 was not arbitrary. It represents 3 complete cycles of the lunar nodal period. Multiply 18.6 by 3, and you get 55.8, essentially 56. The Aubrey holes thus functioned as a triple-cycle lunar calculator, allowing observers to track and predict lunar positions over a 5-6-year period. This was a level of precision that modern astronomers rely on computers and centuries of data to achieve. Yet the Neolithic builders of Stonehenge encoded these lunar calculations into the physical structure of the monument itself. But there was more to discover. GROK's analysis of the sarsen stones, the massive trilithons forming the iconic structure, revealed that the stones were not simply placed to mark the summer solstice sunrise, as had been long believed. The AI found that the sarsen stones create a resonant cavity, a 3-dimensional space, designed to manipulate sound waves in very specific ways. GROK's simulations showed that Stonehenge was, in fact, a sophisticated acoustic instrument. The stones generate standing waves at specific frequencies, particularly in the infrasound range, between 95 and 120 Hz frequencies below the threshold of human hearing, but with profound effects on human physiology and psychology. Modern research has shown that exposure to these specific infrasound frequencies can induce altered states of consciousness, intense emotional responses, and even visual hallucinations. The builders of Stonehenge didn't just create a monument for celestial alignment, they encoded acoustic properties designed to alter the minds of those who gathered there. GROK's findings suggest that Stonehenge was an active technology designed not just to track the heavens, but to manipulate human consciousness itself through sound. When GROK analyzed the blue stones, the smaller stones transported from Wales, it found that they weren't selected randomly either. They were chosen for their acoustic properties. When struck, each blue stone produces a unique ringing tone. GROK's analysis revealed that these stones were carefully arranged to form a harmonic series, a musical scale. The AI showed that when struck in sequence, the blue stones produce a pentatonic scale, a 5-note scale, that appears in musical traditions across the world. This was not an accident. The builders deliberately selected and arranged the stones to create a musical relationship. But GROK revealed something even more remarkable. The blue stones were placed at specific acoustic nodes within the circle. These positions were carefully chosen so that when the sarsen stones generate infrasound, the blue stones would vibrate sympathetically, creating additional harmonic frequencies that enhance and modulate the overall acoustic environment. This was a sophisticated form of acoustic engineering, using the stones not just for alignment, but as instruments in a larger sound system designed to influence those present at the site. The AI didn't stop there. It turned its attention to the broader landscape surrounding Stonehenge, analyzing LiDAR surveys, geophysical mapping data, and archaeological records of the entire area spanning several square miles. What it found changed everything. Stonehenge is not isolated. It sits at the center of an integrated ritual landscape. GROK identified hundreds of features: earthworks, burial mounds, processional avenues, and timber circles arranged according to specific geometric and astronomical relationships. GROK mapped the positions of these features and discovered they were organized like a control network reference points that maintain geometric relationships over vast distances. The landscape was carefully designed as a unified system, with Stonehenge acting as the central node in a network of monuments spanning miles. This was not a haphazard arrangement of structures. It was a planned, coordinated system that required surveying precision beyond what we ever thought possible for the Neolithic people. But GROK also detected something that complicates our understanding even further. Some of the earthworks and burial mounds were built centuries before the sarsen stones were placed, suggesting that the landscape plan existed long before the monument was constructed. Stonehenge was not the beginning of this grand design. It was built to fit into a pre-existing system of geometric relationships that had been in place since around 3500 BCE. This challenges everything we thought we knew about Neolithic people's technical capabilities. They didn't just build Stonehenge, they inherited a vast, complex system of knowledge and implemented it. GROK's analysis of the construction sequence revealed a pattern of decline in precision across time. Early stones show the highest levels of acoustic and astronomical precision, while later stones show increasing deviations from the original designs. This is not what we would expect from a civilization learning and improving over time. Instead, it suggests that the builders were struggling to replicate the precision of their predecessors. The physical evidence in the stones tells a story of fading capabilities across generations. As GROK continued its analysis, it revealed even more startling findings. Stonehenge is not merely a calendar marking celestial events, it is a mechanism for tracking long-term cycles of astronomical phenomena. The alignments encode lunar, solar, and stellar cycles, as well as long-term precessional movements. These cycles span centuries, even millennia, and they require multiple generations to track. Why would Neolithic people need to track cycles longer than human lifespans? GROK cannot answer this question, but it can demonstrate that the capability to track these cycles existed within the monument. Stonehenge was designed to preserve astronomical and mathematical information for future generations, information that might someday be decoded when the necessary knowledge and technology became available. That future generation is us, and the technology that cracked this ancient code is GROK AI. As GROK processed all the data, lunar mechanics, acoustic engineering, harmonic properties, and more, it detected one overarching principle: Stonehenge is obsessed with cycles. Everything about the monument relates to cyclical time. Why this obsession with cycles? GROK's analysis suggests that the monument was built to track, predict, and perhaps warn about recurring catastrophic events, climate cycles, solar cycles, and celestial mechanics. The builders of Stonehenge may have understood that these events follow predictable patterns and encoded that knowledge in stone to preserve it for future generations. What we have discovered is both humbling and terrifying. Humbling because it shows us that our ancestors possessed knowledge far beyond what we have credited them with. Terrifying because it suggests that knowledge was already being lost even as Stonehenge was built. The question is not just how Stonehenge was built, but why, and what knowledge the builders were trying to preserve. What was encoded in these stones, and what might we still have yet to discover?